My Shaylas, I hope you guys are doing okay. This video is more so of a general message. Like, if it finds you, it finds you. Like, kind of like the tail readers on TikTok. Like, they catch you off guard and they're like, if you see this video on your For You page, this video is made for you. And then they start speaking generally, but not actually towards you, just towards a collective. And then you just take pieces of the thing. Because if I sat here and talk about a million things, you would relate to at least one, right? Yeah. And that's kind of what this is, except it's more of like being direct about it. And the question of the day is, well, you came into the world as you. So why are you trying to be someone else? Hold up now. Hold up. Let me cook. Let me cook. Okay. But for real though, because here's the thing. I get it's not something from the outside perspective, I will say, from the outside looking in. I get being a parent because, like, I heard this before. I get being a parent. The thing about it is, yeah, when you have children, you might have this ideal in your head of what your child might do, of how things may go. But there's always like the same thing with like any animal. Like if we watch cartoons and stuff, let's put it that way. If you can't really relate in the sense of like parents, and that's okay. But like in a cartoon sense, you see like some cartoons where like it's a bird, just like a chicken or something. Okay, I think I'm making up a cartoon, but let me just listen, like a chicken or something, like what chickens look like, what a chick is supposed to look like. So the parent is like, I know what my like they're thinking like I know what my child is gonna be like, I know what my child is gonna look like. It's like the same routine of like what it's been like, how I've been like popping pussy and like popping out baby. So it's like it's the same thing. I already know what's gonna hit for it. And all of a sudden one of your ducklings is black, and then all of a sudden it's like a rebellious duckling. It's a duckling that does things their own way and it's just different. But you see, some parents aren't ready to embrace that difference, and like they might shit on you for being like that way and not like being how all their other children were. But the thing about it is, we're meant to be our own people. We're not meant to be like this sibling and this sibling and this sibling. If I were to look at my siblings, we're all so similar yet so different. Like my sister, she likes art. She's like really a fashion girly, and then me as well. I'm into fashion, but art isn't really my thing. I'm more of a poet myself, a self-proclaimed poet. Two of my sisters, they're into basketball. One of my brothers into basketball, and then I have another brother. He's into more like coding and stuff like that. And then my sister, what is my sister into? Can you say boys? Sorry, that's not. We'll say the guardian of us all, the one who keeps us safe. But we're all so different. Yeah, you see, a few of us share similarities, but we're all different in our own ways. And you see me, like, it's not that I'm so different from my siblings, because you see, like, again, we relate in certain aspects. We have the same thing, like piercings. All my sisters have piercings, like all of them. It's just my brothers because they're younger, but all my sisters have piercings. We all got our nose pierced. We all have. Me and my sister got a septum. One sister got a smiley. We all got our ears done. Like we all have piercings. But the thing about it is, this isn't a copy paste. This is us living in our own way, in our own truth. Similarities because we're always together, but still in our own way. Just like how two of us might have septums, but the rest of them don't like septums. One might have two piercings, but maybe two is too much for the other person. But it's all about being yourself. And here's the thing with me, I could admit this wholeheartedly. Growing up for me, it was hard. Not because it was such a bad household. It was just because when you're a child and you hear things like play in your head over and over and over. So the thing is, I grew up with Islam. So I always knew, I always made sure it was always out there. And this is when gay and stuff like this were always frowned down on. So I grew up, well, hearing that, oh, gay people go to hell. People who like boys, you like the same sex, lesbians, you all go to hell. So I grew up believing these things. So I was always looking at myself, knowing what I liked, and I hated it. I hated that thought replaying over and over in my head. And then what I hated more was waking up still knowing that no matter how much I hated that thought, that hating it would not make the feeling I had go away. For the longest of time, I'll admit, during like high school time, I tried to sit there and like be someone else. I told myself like maybe if I get a girlfriend, like maybe maybe this thought of liking guys is just like something that'll go away over some time. But it never went away, and I always ended up still liking them. And I always try to, like, again, when you're in high school, you want to fit in. You don't want to be like that odd one out. So again, when people are making fun of people for liking that, like me, I was like always shutting myself out. I was telling them like, no, I don't like that. I don't like that. I like girls. I like this. I like that. But it was never that. But it came to a point where it's like, of course, maybe for some parents, you might not want to hear your child likes the same gender because you think like, oh, who's supposed to keep the bloodline going? You don't really know what they're thinking until they say it. So some might think that. But for me, it was like, I was never good at being someone else regardless. I knew who I was supposed to be. I knew who I was from a young age. So it came to a point where I realized like I've been resenting myself from when I was young, but this thought, this feeling that I have this attraction, it doesn't just go away. So, all I could have did was embrace it. And the day that I told my parents about it was like such a weight off my chest because now I felt like I no longer had to live for the ideal version of someone of society. But now I could live for me. I could live for what I like and for who I want to be. And that brought peace for me, like living for myself cost me way more than it would living for someone else. And that's what I love. Like, there's nothing I have to worry about. I don't care what people have to say about me because as long as I'm content with who I am, what could any stranger's words mean to me? Like, I'm happy with myself. I love myself wholeheartedly. And I'll admit, it took me almost up until now to actually embrace myself fully and actually be able to express who I am freely. But now that I have, like, I'm happier than ever. Like, I feel like a brand new version of myself. That's why it's like I came into this world as me, and like now I'm actually embracing every single part of me and the little traits and the bigger ones. That's why living for someone else, you're gonna realize like it's just about discomfort. Like, what about you? What about you? What about how you feel? What about what you want to do? Are you just gonna keep accepting whatever the crowd has to say just for a sense of belonging? And here's the thing, I don't belong a lot of places, and you know what? That's fine because regardless, you shouldn't have to fight for your place in the world. That should come naturally. And I know that in certain places I have a sense of unbelonging because I don't belong there and I haven't found my crowd yet. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist just because it's not in front of me. Just because I can't see it doesn't mean it isn't out there. Just because we haven't set foot on the moon doesn't mean the moon isn't there. Look up in the sky, we can see it. Okay? Just because things aren't right in front of you doesn't mean it's not there. Okay, this is why we have to get more accustomed to enjoying our life, living for ourselves, and just being ourselves. Because at the end of the day, as much as your parents gave you life, but it's not their life, it's your life. They brought you here, but now you're your own person. You are not your parents, you're not. You're who you want to be. You do what you want to do in life. You go about things in the way you see fit. Okay? Live for someone. Live for someone. No. Live for yourself. And I promise you, once you start living for yourself, you're going to realize things are so much beautiful. And people who don't accept you, it's fine. Before, family was by blood, but nowadays we choose our family. So, there'll always be a place for you. There'll always be a family out there for you. And there will always be someone who will take you as is without having to wear someone else's clothing. That's my message for tonight. And I hope you guys have a lovely night. And I hope you guys, some of you guys think about what I say because, well, I just sit here and speak my truth. That's why the words just flow so smoothly. And that's it. Sleep well, guys. Ciao, ciao.